What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing the fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Multiverse, which of course is a fan manga set within its own timeline involving characters from both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. But the overall concept of Dragon Ball Multiverse involves fighters from different quadrants and parallel worlds in which come together for this grand multiverse battle to determine which universe and team is superior than the rest. And for many years now, I've been reviewing Dragon Ball fan concepts and mangas, so today we're going to be diving further into this manga chapter to further understand the gravity and nature of Dragon Ball Multiverse. And with that, we kick it off with Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 13 as we resume with evil Super Buu having to attack Super Vegito in space. And if you look really closely, it looks like Vegito is trying to keep up and blast all of the evil Super Buu heads from coming at him. And then of course we see Gohan and Bra arrive, and we see how Bra says our father is asking for help. It's not like him. And of course it's not like Vegito, because Vegito is stuck right now in the voids of space battling Super Buu, who wants to absorb Broly, which in all actuality makes lots of sense considering how strong Broly actually is. So with that, we go back to the tournament stage and we see one of the Namekians say we've healed everyone. The public also asked for something. Many have suffered because of the light Vegito's attack produced. The contrast was too big. They would like a daylight luminacy, and then we see how one of them says we'll see what we can do. And we go back to Vegito and Buu, with Buu having to say, so the cavalry arrives, and we see how he begins to attack Gohan and how he begins to attack Bra. And mind you, Bra is really strong as she is for a female because she punches off Super Buu's head, and we also get to see Gohan as well stomp out a few Majin Buus, and they begin to combine their blast in assisting Vegito on destroying the other Super Buu heads, which I think is again very useful for Vegito. But he also says, good job kids, we should also be able to hold enough for Broly to be sent back to his universe, in which of course was essentially the plan for the tournament holders to send Broly back to his universe. So we pan back to the overall tournament ring and we see how Raditz and Nappa are talking, and Raditz having to say, hey, the artificial lights have increased, super, let's leave. And then that's when Vegeta says, what the heck are you saying? And that's when Nappa says, we're nothing here, even you'll be crushed by that monster, Vegeta. And then we even see how in the other universe we see how 16 says, do you want to forfeit? Since the beginning I didn't expect to win. And that's when Trunks says, so nothing has changed. And that's when even Babidi tells Majin Buu they are all surprised by this fight, but Buu can do better, right Buu? And Buu having to say, huh, what? And that's when Frieza says, Papa, I think we're outclassed, with even Cooler having to say, sounds impossible, but, and that's when Frieza says, let's not forget our goal isn't this tournament, but to have the Dragon Balls. So it looks like everyone else is having second thoughts, especially after witnessing Broly versus Vegito and coming to the understanding that they may not have a chance in this tournament after all, with the Super Namekian having to say an infinite strength, but strength is nothing, I need my wish. So it looks like he's staying, and even Bojack says, no, we're not leaving, with one of Bojack's henchmen having to say, yeah, well, I'm going. You'll follow us in separate boxes. With even the Kaioshin universe having to say, this is why we'll close the universes after the tournament, with one of them having to respond by saying, yes, the sooner the better, with Trunks and Goten low-key trying to leave. And it's actually kind of funny how Vegeta and Goku pretty much caught them, and Trunks having to say, so I have some contracts to sign, with Goten having to say, I have a date with my girlfriend, dad. And then we see how, you know, both Goku and Vegeta stop them, which I find to be really awesome and funny. We also get to see how Oops says, Sensei, we are really outclassed, aren't we? I mean, why keep going? With Goku having to say, exactly, that's the challenge. We'll meet Vegito in the finale, and I'm sure we'll get better after that. With Pan having to say, but we can't get that much stronger in such a short amount of time. With Vegeta having to say, I shouldn't be surprised that Vegito is stronger than us, but by so much. With Cell having to say in the finale, yes, so many things can happen. Until then, with my Saiyan cells, I can trust that my next fight's to get better. I hope these fools here give me a challenge because I sure as hell need some. So Cell looks to grow, Goku wants to grow, Vegeta wants to grow. Some people actually want to stay and grow, but they're actually very fearful on how powerful Vegito is, with Goten having to tell Piccolo, I'm worried about Vegito, Gohan, and Bra. They still aren't back yet, with Piccolo having to say, plus, it's impossible to sense them with all of the energy warriors around us. And that's when we see the tournament holder says, next fight 18 from universe number 14 against Yamcha from universe number 9, with Krillin having to say, oh, so you didn't forfeit then, with Yamcha having to say, do that if you want, old man, but I am playing until the end. So it looks like there is a version of of Yamcha in this universe that isn't fearful of fighting, but the overall concept now is the fact that every single individual are fearful on fighting Vegito or even Broly for that matter, considering the fact that even though Broly has been eliminated, there are still fighters of that caliber such as Vegito that exist in this tournament. So now they are essentially scared on fighting someone equal to or similar to Vegito, if anything having to fight Vegito in the finale because they know they aren't strong enough. And now we see 18 and Yamcha in the ring as Yamcha says, I don't really want to hit a girl, so can't you just forfeit and then we'll go on a drink together. And we see how 18 sticks her hand out. She pretty much shoots a beam at Yamcha and Yamcha actually dodges, with Yamcha having to teleport in front of 18 and saying, now I'm sure of it, and 18 having to strike Yamcha. But here's the crazy part, Yamcha is actually quick enough to dodge 18's attacks, with Yamcha having to say, you didn't release any energy when you attacked, your name is a number, just making light of Android 18's name, and Yamcha having to say you're an artificial human. And that's when 18 says, yeah, so what, with Yamcha having to say you must have suffered the worst, you even forgot your real name, let me help you. And that's when 18 says, help me, fuck off, and she unleashes another beam, and we see how the beam pretty much goes into the audience, and 18 is just sending out all these shots and saying, I've killed more people than you can even imagine, I don't need anybody. And Yamcha teleports behind her and saying, I can read the grief on your face. You regret the massacres you did, but you're afraid of saying it. You suffer because you didn't know your past. All these pains, I know of them very well. And 18's getting really mad and saying, oh yeah? Well, what do you know about them? With Yamcha having to say, I am also a cyborg. I used to be called number 17. So it looks like this person that's disguised as Yamcha is actually artificial human number 17, which is absolutely insane to even conjure up. But as insane as that is, we pan back to Super Buu, and it looks like there are these little balls, and they transform into these little Boos, and one of them having to say, well done, my friends, here we are, and they're all crying and saluting each other and saying, we entered into the enemy territory, putting our lives at risk. Okay, now let's surround this guy. And it looks like there are these little tiny versions of, you know, Super Buu on top of Broly's chest, and it looks like they're trying to engulf themselves around Broly, but it looks like Gohan stops them by blasting them, and Gohan having to say, not nice, I was almost there. So it looks like Gohan says, we must hold off until Broly is sent back, and that's when the tournament holder says, here, it's fixed, we'll send this Broly back then. What's the point? How far is he? So they don't even know how far he is, but while in the voids of space, Buu is fighting Bra, and it looks like Buu is beating up Bra, with Bra having to say, Dad, he's stronger, I need to breathe. With Bra having to say, I can't stand it anymore, I can't die here, I won't die here, I'm going to the next level. And that's when Vegito says, the next, no, I forbid you, don't do it, Bra. And that's when Gohan says, it's really not a matter of time for that, we don't have time for you to do that. So it looks like Bra, she's about to die, and she looks to be turning it up to the next level, but it looks like Vegito says, no, you cannot do that, I forbid you, and that's when she does it anyway. We see Bra power up in front of Buu, and that's when Gohan says, on the other hand, she won't break much around either, which ultimately means that Bra isn't going to be as easy as a pushover as people want to assume. And we see she transforms into like the Super Saiyan 2 like form, and she begins to attack Majin Buu, and Majin Buu is laughing, not really caring, and that's when she blows half of Majin Buu's body away, with Majin Buu having to say, that's Vegito's technique, she too can kill me. So it looks like that Bra actually knows some of Vegito's techniques, in which Buu even points out like this is bad, like she can actually do heavy damage with these attacks. And we see how she's attacking more or less of Buu's parts, and that's when Gohan says, no, Bra. And of course, just as that happens, we see Bra unleash an attack that affects Gohan and Vegito, and Buu seems to be enjoying this by saying, ha, this girl is great, but you'll never get all of us, with Bra having to say, Gohan, Dad, damn it, I did it again. So it looks like she actually affected Gohan. We see Vegito, he powered down, he's just floating in space. Gohan is really hurt, and Bra looks to be very distraught as to what she has done, and we see how Buu is beginning to regenerate and saying, so, no one left to stop me. So Broly is mine. And just as he says that, we see how Broly is beginning to disappear, with Buu having to say, he's not there, where is he? And going back to the Namekian and tournament holder, the Namekian says it's important, with one of the birdies having to say, who will care that he isn't in this universe anymore, frankly. And then we see how Gohan arrives to Bra and saying, Bra, snap out of it, we're heading back. And he's carrying Vegito, he wants to grab Bra, and it looks like they actually make it back in time, and Gohan having to say, Dad, are you okay? And Vegito's down on the ground saying, I'll survive, Piccolo got the Senzus, he'll find us soon. So it looks like even though they've arrived, they're all heavily damaged, Bra can't even breathe, and that's when Super Boo's leg stomps down, and we see Super Boo there, he is incredibly mad, and that's when Bra and Gohan power up, and Vegito having to say, I can't breathe, but I'm even more harmed and still out of energy, Bra and Gohan should be able to, and that's when Boo says, congrats for these fights, I had a wonderful time, thank you all, I'm really looking forward to my matches against you at your best, and he begins to walk off, and Vegito's like, wait a minute, was he even really trying to absorb Broly? What was Boo's motive? So based on what happened, Boo just casually walks off congratulating them for fighting him, so my assumption in this manga chapter is the fact that Majin Buu used them only to simply get stronger. But even with that being said, Gohan, Bra, and Vegito, they begin to eat. I'm assuming they're eating sensu beans, and Vegito having to say thanks Piccolo, with Piccolo having to say I'll redo your clothes as well. And back on the little planet stage, we see how 18 is fighting 17 cloaked as Yamcha, with Yamcha having to say you won't touch me, our bodies are the same, but our strengths are miles apart. First, I am a real fighter, my technique was way superior than yours, and I've learned to push forward the limits of my body, but even without this, you became much less powerful with time, infinite energy. There is no such thing, and he catches her punch, and that's when he says our energy gets down with time, making us weaker and weaker. You just don't realize that yet. And if you don't do a maintenance checkup on your body in 10 years top, you won't even be able to walk. And Yamcha is like holding her down, and 17 is looking at her from a distance, and 18 can't even seem to move, with Yamcha having to say, so, still not wanting my help? With Vegito having to talk to Goten and Trunks and saying, what did I miss? And that's when Trunks says, Yamcha is a cyborg. That's right, Dad, he is. And that's when Vegito from the other universe says, Universe 16 just went quiet. A jump. It seems that something's going on, with Goku having to say it's related to Buu, with Cell having to say if we fight far from the arena, no one can see a thing. I take note of this, with one of the tournament holders having to say if he maintains her on the ground for more than a couple of seconds, Yamcha wins. And that's exactly what Yamcha does. He gets 18 in some sort of an armbar and he keeps her down and saying, give me your trust, I'm on your side, with 18 having to say, you won't win this match, with Yamcha having to say, I don't care about that, I want to help you, with the tournament holder having to say 5, 4, 3, Yamcha's telling 18 to give up, and she's looking at him, and that's when he says, have fun in the tournament, and when you feel like it, come see me at the 9th balcony. And that's when Krillin says, phew, this sucker fell for her beautiful eyes, how naive. Really, Yamcha seems incapable of even going through the first rounds, with Yamcha having to come back and saying, sorry guys, I've changed my mind, instead of being roasted in the tournament, I'll save those 2 lost souls. In which later pans over to the other fighters at the tournament saying, after this fight we go to a strange universe, our explorers were taken back by it due to the intense differences with the others. Universe 2 wasn't discovered more than it was supposed to. I still don't really understand myself, and we even get to see Orale there and saying 2 members of this universe are called for this match, Orale from universe number 2 against Mary Sue from universe number 2. Mary Sue comes from the Orion Star, where she mastered all martial arts and talks all languages. She is a descendant of the Saiyan Prince's blood sister of the Namek's hidden daughter of Broly, Bardock, and King Vegeta, sister of Bulma, fused with her double from the future, genetically altered of the IQ of 250. She is also immortal, can talk to animals, and can even enter dreams. What? And that's when the tournament holder says, what are you doing? You don't actually introduce that to people, and him having to say, well, I don't know what happened to me, that's just the way it is. With everyone at the ring having to say, what? She's so beautiful, says Trunks, and Bra having to say she's like a big sister I never had, with Vegeta having to say, I feel like I've always known her, with Gohan having to say, well, she seems to do quite an impression on this family, with even Pan having to say, Dad, I don't understand, I mean, she can't have 3 fathers, can she? With Mary Sue having to then say, it's good I closed my eyes when that kind of moon was created, I would have been transformed into a giant Ozaru dragon octopus platypus, me, who who hates violence, but I must fight to save my doomed people, my friends in prison, my evil interdimensional double, the one of the prophecy, the promise I made, and the baby of Trunks, Piccolo, Goten, and Vegeta I bear. This is all insane, with everyone having to say such a beautiful voice, such a dreadful destiny. I give my life for her, bear my child. Shut up, Kakarot. Everyone in the background's talking, and even Arale says, ho ho ho, you must go onto the ring, madam. And that's when the tournament holder says, don't miss the adventures of Mary Sue in the sequel of Dragon Ball Multiverse. So it looks like this Mary Sue character has the weirdest origins, as she's bearing children, as she has this really morbid, twisted, really out of whack background. But overall, I think that the whole Yamcha/18 sequence is a little bit weird, and it's also a little weird to see how Super Buu pretty much thanked Vegito and friends for such a competition, in which you have to ask yourself as to what his motives actually are, because he was trying to absorb Broly, but as soon as they all got back, Buu just said, well, thanks for the fight, I'm looking forward to fighting you later on. So it just doesn't make any sense to me, but even though as that occurred, this was still a relatively decent chapter, guys. Post your comments down below as to what you guys thought. Thank you all for watching. Once again, if you guys are fans, don't forget to subscribe for more news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to go on ahead and leave a like down below. Tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all in the next Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter review. Take it easy, guys. Peace.